of the report.
Yes. So let's have the reports. But you can't be doing these things. If you want to take your motions and you want us to be carried through, let us have the reports and make sure my members have it, so that they won't think so they won't think that.
No, we don't have the numbers.
Well, and that is what you always do when we talk. Then before you start distributing, it's not fair.
Can we make progress?
Speaker, the reports are not legible. It's not legible.
It's not
legible. You cannot read.
Please
come and take it.
As an available leader, give him a legible copy of the reports. Can we now move on?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that motion number 2 on today's order paper addendum number 2 be now taken. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Motion moved and seconded.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Motion moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. This being a procedural motion, let me put a question. As many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Yes. Motion numbered 3 on the order paper addendum 2. Deputy Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2026 be now read a second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Motion moved for the second reading. May I call on the Vice Chairman of the committee to present the committee's report.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. I call on the Answer Department to capture the entire report as having been read in its entirety, whilst I tease out some of the important issues. I'll start with item 7.2. Head note, equity in the royalty framework. The committee observed that the expansion of the sliding scale royalty regime to cover all gold mining companies promote fairness and equity within the mining sector. Previously, the royalty framework operated under a dual arrangement where companies operating under the development agreement paid royalties based on a sliding scale, while companies without such agreement paid a flat rate of 5% of gross production. This arrangement created disparity in the royalty obligations of mining companies within the same industry. By extending the sliding scale royalty regime to all gold mining companies, government seeks to establish a more uniform and equitable system of royalty payment across the sector. Item 5.0, objects of the bill. The object of the bill is to amend
Honourable Vice Chairman, in conclusion.
Mr. Speaker, I conclude by reading the last part of the report. The committee accordingly recommends to the House to adopt this report and pass the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2026 in accordance with Article 106 of the Constitution. I so submit.
Members, motion move for the second reading. Report presented. It is now for the House to debate the principle, the rationale, the mischief the bill is seeking to cure on the basis of the explanatory memorandum and the report of the committee based on Standing Order 127. The floor is now open. Yes.
Thank you very much,
Now,
Mr. Speaker.
member for secondary.
Mr. Speaker, we are happy that this bill has come back to this House for an amendment. Mr. Speaker, I believe that when it was mentioned earlier in the budget, our side had complained that government was only shifting taxes for one place to the other. Mr. Speaker, for the business community, we are aware that lower taxes leads to reinvestment. Lower taxes ensures that there's incentive for work. And therefore, for the government to be bringing this back to the House, we are happy to support it, and we know that it's going to support the mining industry. Mr. Speaker, recently we've had this local content in the mining industry. Unfortunately, when you go to the mining areas, they continue not to be developed because the local content awards of contracts for us in the mining areas have all been awarded to people in Accra. And therefore, even though people are gaining these contracts, the investment in the communities are minimal. And we believe that whilst we are giving incentives to the mining companies in the area of lowering their taxes, we want them to ensure that they give their contracts to local companies in mining communities in this country so that a lot of the money can stay there. Mr. Speaker, anytime you talk about mining in Ghana, we are told that the companies that own these operations don't come from Ghana, unlike South Africa, where the South Africans actually own it. That's why they've been able to develop the likes of Johannesburg. In our country, the mining communities where mining takes place do not get these contracts, and therefore the money do not stay in those communities. So we are asking that whilst government at this level is reducing the taxes for the growth and opportunities, we should also ensure that the mining companies who are getting these benefits should ensure they award contracts to local companies within a certain radius within those mining companies. With this free, Mr. Speaker, we would like to support this amendment that has been brought to this House.
Thank you very
You
much.
have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when you advert your mind to the justification for amending the current levy, it is obvious that the position was taken to help government raise revenue. Mr. Speaker, when you go through the report, I was expecting, for instance, to see how much government was able to raise during that time and how much it is going to affect us in terms of the revenue in the event of the amendment. Mr. Speaker, we don't see any such thing here. Mr. Speaker, it's very important because we approved the budget not long ago. And coming after the budget has been approved, Mr. Speaker, you are wondering how this is going to affect the budget, Mr. Speaker, in terms of the revenue. Mr. Speaker, you would note that when you look at paragraph 7.1, for instance, there's the attempt to suggest that this is likely, the changes that are being made is likely to help us make the same amount, but there's no figures. For instance, Mr. Speaker, it states that, however, the committee further noted that government has expanded the application of the sliding scale royalty regime to cover all gold mining companies. That notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, when you look at the last sentence of that second paragraph, that is paragraph 7.1,
It says this measure will significantly relieve the current burden of mining companies and make the mining sector more competitive. Mr. Speaker, it's clear that this is being done for mining companies and not the nation. And so if we were to get figures, then we will know how this is also going to affect the nation. Because, Mr. Speaker, we cannot just be looking at the interest of the mining companies without looking at the interest of the nation. And so, Mr. Speaker, in the circumstance, I think that more information is needed. Mr. Speaker, ordinarily, I should be happy because the Amman Mines has reverted to the state. Even though the Minister for Mines and Energy is here to make a disclosure as to the process they intend to take in offloading the Amman Mines. No intention has yet been expressed, even though things are being heard in the grapevine, and particularly taking into account the President's statement when he appeared before Parliament that he intends to bring a law as to how going forward state interest in various assets will be disposed of. And so we are hoping that until that law comes to this House, the Amman Mines will remain the property of the state. And in that regard, Mr. Speaker, Ghana is also a gold mining owner. However, Mr. Speaker, there are more gold mining companies which are not owned by the state. And so, Mr. Speaker, if we, oh, why? You're not interested in Ghana. And so, Mr. Speaker, in concluding, we need figures. Mr. Speaker, we need figures here. Mr. Speaker, we need figures. Mr. Speaker, we just cannot.
The cost of the flight is what we are looking
But, Mr. Speaker, what is the cost of the amendment to the state?
Yes.
What is the cost of the amendment to the state? Yes. Mr. Speaker, financial impact analysis. Mr. Speaker, we need it. Even though we know that now we own the Amman Mines and the Amman Mines is not going anywhere. But, Mr. Speaker, we need figures here. Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for indulging me.
Yes, minority leadership.
Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. Speaker, first of all, there are a few observations. The first one is the rush at which we bring such motions and such bills for them to be considered. Speaker, we were in this same house, 2025, when this was 1%. And there was this rush, as if those who were previously in government were sleeping. And Speaker, we came in to ask for 3% without doing any serious engagement. And Speaker, whenever we do so, then we run under and come under Order 1691, asking that, oh, this be elapsed so that we wouldn't have comprehensive consideration of the bill or the paper that has to be laid. We are doing the same thing. Speaker, and the anticipation is that, is it because we are expecting the Amman Mines to go to an individual or a certain company which belongs to government? Under normal circumstances, nobody has to be against any reduction in any tax. Nobody, Speaker. And from a very honest point of view, I see no reason why any well-meaning person should be against the reduction in any tax. But where you want to believe that the reduction is going to be to the benefit of one major person or company, then you should be worried. And against the background that the Amman Mines, which belongs to government, is to a larger extent about to be reverted to an individual. Speaker, we believe that this is not a bad step. We are only advising, especially the finance ministry, that they keep rushing here with all manner of papers without solid consultation. And then they come back and then they do a U-turn. We also are aware of the lithium. We hope that this one, they won't come back and do a U-turn. Speaker, with this, I thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you and honorable members for supporting this amendment. The amendment is timely, and it is in the interest of the mining sector. Mr. Speaker, if you recall, exactly a year ago, on the 13th of March, 2025, the finance minister brought a request, a memorandum to amend the growth and sustainability levy, and colleagues have spoken about that. That time, the levy was 1%, and we came to increase it to 3%. The rationale, the reason for the increase was that the price of gold had shot up, and Ghana and the people of Ghana, who are owners of these natural resources, were not getting enough advantage. There was no windfall tax in place, and we were not benefiting from the huge profit that the mining companies were making. And so we came to this House, and this House supported the amendment to increase the levy from 1% to 3%. During that presentation, the finance minister said that we were doing so because as a country we did not have any windfall tax. And so it was important that we introduce that amendment so that we can take advantage of the huge profits that the companies were making. If shareholders are making profit, owners of the resources must also benefit from those resources. The finance minister promised that the government will come later with a mechanism, a windfall tax process, so that any time that the prices of gold goes up and mining companies are making super profit, the Ghanaian people also benefit from that. And subsequent to that, the minerals and mining royalty regulations was laid in this House. Mr. Speaker, I have been told that it matures today. So after today, the introduction in that regulation, which has brought new sliding scale, that ensures that when the price of gold goes up, the rate also goes up so that Ghana can benefit from it. If it happens that the price of gold goes down, then we revert to lower rates. And that has been done by this House. In fact, if the gold price is up to $1,900, the rate is 5%. If the price of gold goes between 1,900 to 2,000, the rate increases to 6%. If the price of gold goes up beyond 4,500, the rate peaks at 12%. So this is taking care of the windfall prices, the windfall gains. And so we do not need to keep the growth and sustainability levy at the elevated 3%. So that is why we are bringing it back to the original 1%, because that advantage is being catered for in the regulation that was laid in this House. So, Mr. Speaker, it is as simple as that. That is why we are calling us to reduce the growth and sustainability levy from the 3% that we introduced in 2025 back to the original 1% that it was, because the sliding scale would take care of any gains that happens. So, as simple as that. So, Mr. Speaker, those who were entertaining any fears that we are reducing the rate because of a particular company, no, we don't make laws to suit individuals. We are bringing this change so Ghana can take maximum advantage of the natural resources. We all know that we have been blessed with gold. Over the years, we haven't taken enough advantage of these gold resources that we have. This arrangement will make it fair to mining companies, and it will also make it fair to Ghanaians who are the owners of these natural resources. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm just looking at the page 3 of the report, and it mentions that under the sliding scale system, royalty payments are linked to prevailing price levels, such that the royalty rate increases incrementally as gold price rises. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to know who determines the sliding scale and how are you going to work with that one? I need a further explanation.
But is it not the case that that is contained in the regulation that was brought to the House?
Rightly so, Mr.
Yes.
Speaker. If you see the regulation that this House has passed, it has the sliding scale in there. And that is what I was giving you. That we have it. I can share a copy. This House passed, in fact, the subsidiary legislation committee actually worked on this. It was laid and it has passed. So it is not an individual or the finance minister who will sit and determine the rate. The rate has been predetermined by this House through the regulations. So as soon as the price of gold kicks at a certain level, the rate applies. So it is a given. Thank you.
Speaker, I've just been informed that the regulation matures today. 2 days. You have a copy? Yeah, well, because that is all supposed to be part of the basis for us to be well abreast. We are not the ones moving the motion. We need to have copies so that that's the reason why the framers of the standing orders made it clear that we would have 2 days at least to look at all of this. Please let us have a copy so we are well versed on the matters.
This is not before the Finance Committee. It is Lands and Natural Resources Committee's work. But we just want the members to know that the regulation is passed, and these are the scale. So the bands are there. So we operate within them. As and when the price goes up, then the percentages kick in. If it comes down, the same, the lower percentage will also kick in. So I can send you a copy.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's important that we all be at tandem with what is happening to the entire discussions that we are having. We don't have it. And I believe that there's no need to rush through this thing. We are all happy that we are going to reduce the tax aspect of it. So I believe that where we are at the moment, once we've discussed the report, we are not going to continue with the passage because we are also looking at the numbers and we should all be abreast with whatever is happening here. So we cannot continue the motion 3 and 4. We believe that where we are, we want to study and then know exactly what is. Thank you.
Yes, but honorable members, let's look at it this way. With the passage of the regulation, if this law is not passed, reducing the tax to 1%, the implementers will charge the rate per the regulation and at the same time charge again the rate per the law, which is the 3%. This will disadvantage because the regulation is there, it's now matured, it's going to be implemented. Now, if this law does not reduce the tax to 1%, it means that they will charge under the regulation and charge under the Parent Act, which will be unfair to them. And that is the reason for which this bill must be passed in order to reduce it to 1. So, at the conclusion of the debate, let me first put the question. As many as are in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted.
An act to amend the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act 2023 at 1095 to reduce the rate of the levy on gold mining companies from 3% of gross production to 1% of gross production.
Members, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2026 is duly read for a second time. Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, may we take motion number 4? the other paper addendum, Speaker.
Yes, Minister for Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that motion number 4 on order paper addendum number 2 be taken today. I still move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Yes, Honorable Jerry Ahmed.
Speaker, we think that my side of the House are of the view that we should be giving the requisite period to study the motion and to understand what it's all involved against the backdrop that at about 11:12 noon today, the agreement was that we're just going to lay and subsequently come back.
So allow the motion to be seconded when it is for the consideration of the House.
Very well,
then
Speaker.
you can make your point.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Yes, the motion is moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House.
Speaker, I was trying to make the point that it would be proper for the House to defer considering this motion against the backdrop that we had agreed that we were going to take it on a subsequent date, and today was for the laying of same, and for us to also have proper in-depth understanding of whatever is captured in this. Speaker, I feel that this is the way to go on this matter, especially since we agreed. Speaker, this is the only request I'm making to you. This is the prayer I'm making to you.
Then maybe I've wrongly been made aware that out of the engagement, there was a necessity to do it to avoid a situation where they will be charged under the regulation and again be charged under the Parent Act, which will be the 3% if the 3% is not immediately reduced to 1%, which will disadvantage the large-scale gold producers. So, based on the outcome of the engagement, I'm doing what I am doing. I don't know whether it is to the contrary.
Speaker, I do not know which engagement, but I wouldn't stand here and lie to you, respectfully. And Speaker, besides all of that, what is the rush? Why are we taking it today? So that there is a reduction from 3% to 1% today, and we can't wait for Tuesday or Monday if this hallowed chamber is sitting. What's the rush? Why can't we? And Speaker, I made reference to an observation that we have been here on several counts. We rush some of these things and we come back. And come back and say that we are doing a U-turn. And Speaker, we are not giving adequate notice and adequate
what is the
reports
sense
for
of the
people to
House?
payrolls. Speaker, they don't even have the numbers as well.
Yes,
they don't have the
let me hear
numbers
from
to
the
make a
available
decision
leader.
of this matter.
Mr. Speaker, you made an important point, but at the time they were engaging, so they didn't pay attention to what you were saying. So I want you to listen to this, and I know you will agree why it should be taken now. Mr. Speaker, what it is that this House has already passed the regulation. It came here, it went to the subsidiary legislative committee, it was laid, the number of days have been achieved, it has passed. Now, what it means, currently the gold price is elevated above 5,000. It means they are going to pay at 12%. If we leave this, the current law as it is, the growth and sustainability levy will also be paid by the mining companies at 3%, and they will be affected. So we say because the regulation has passed, we are appealing to Parliament to reduce the growth and sustainability levy back to the original 1% so that they don't pay here and pay here. So this is all we are talking about. That is why it's important that we reduce the rate today so that it will help them. You see, that's why we are appealing to you that let us work together. It is a simple one-line amendment. During your time,
Honorable members,
during your
I think
time,
my conscience is clear that we are doing something that confer benefit to Ghanaians. There is no point having the two laws running concurrently, and then the producers will be put into a tax under the regulation at the same time under the Parent Act. Honourable Member, are you up on point of order? What is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, at the time you are up,
Yes,
I was
Mr.
speaking as the Speaker of Parliament, and you are still up. That is why I'm asking you, are you on a point of order against the Speaker?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Then respect the rules. The rules are very clear that anytime Mr. Speaker is on the floor, if you stand up, it means you are up on a point of order against the Speaker. That is a clear rules. Because the rule says when the Speaker is speaking, every other person must remain silent. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I believe it will be right that we make the growth and sustainability levy also a sliding, because in the situation where the prices of gold moves from, let's say, $5,000 to $2,000, it means if we change the percentage to 1, then we are going to lose. So it has to be sliding so that when it goes up, the growth and sustainability levy can adjust the same way so that the country benefits from the revenues that we need. Thank you.
Yes, but we are at a stage where we are considering a procedural motion. So this motion is just procedural. So you don't make a substantive argument when you are considering a procedural motion, because the motion is to waive the 3 days notice. So when we come to the consideration, then you can make your point and even proffer an amendment. Our members, motion moved and seconded. The question is, as many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Yes, majority, Chief Whip.
Speaker, may I pray that we take item number 5, and that's consideration. Consideration is just one line. No, consideration is 5. Other paper than 2. Speaker.
Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2026 at consideration stage. Clause 1.
Schedule to Act 1095 amended.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there's no better amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment? In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of clause 1 standing part of the bill say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Clause 1 is accordingly ordered to stand part of the bill. Honourable members, long title.
An act to amend the growth and sustainability.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, We have amendments at the schedule, category B. So,
Yes, that is the proposed amendment. That's the only clause.
yes.
And then you put a question, and the question has been taken. So we are now going to the long title.
Yes.
It's one line amendment.
I want to be clear in my mind that we've changed the rate from 3% to 1%.
That is the proposed amendment.
Yes, Mr.
On the
Speaker.
other paper,
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
on the bill. That's the proposed amendment.
Yeah,
Which
thank you.
proposed amendment, the House doesn't have any further amendment. And I put a question. So after this, I go to the long title of the bill.
An act to amend the Growth and
Yes.
Sustainability Levy Act.
You didn't come again.
Oh,
The concern of the vice chairman. The said amendment is not advertised. I think that's the difficulty he has. But if it's been carried, then we are clear.
Honorable members, amendment on the bill scheduled to the Act 1095 amended. It reads, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act 2023, Act 1095 is amended in the schedule by substitution for the second rule of mining companies and upstream and gas companies, 1% of gross production. That is the amendment on the floor, which amendment has been carried. So which other thing are we talking about? So long title.
An act to amend the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act 2023 Act
Members,
1095 to
any
reduce the
proposal?
rate of the levy on gold mining companies from 3% of gross production to 1% of gross production.
Honourable members, any proposed amendment to the long title?
Mr. Speaker, there's no advertised amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put the question. As many as are in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The long title is ordered to stand part of the bill. That brings us to the end of consideration stage of the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2025. Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, I pray that we take motion number 6 on the order paper addendum 2, Speaker.
Yes, Deputy Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that motion number 6 on today's order paper addendum 2 be moved today. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Motion move, any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader. It is for the consideration of the House.
Speaker, this bill that is before us, Growth and Sustainability Levy, on the face of it, one may think that it is offering some relief to the mining sector. But, Mr. Speaker, the motion which is seeking to pray for leave to waive the required period of notice so that we move into third reading today must be looked at with a lot of caution. Mr. Speaker, I say so because in the wisdom of the drafters of our rules, this provision requires that we pause and give ourselves some time so that in the event that any important matter arises, a member can use the rules to apply for a second consideration. Mr. Speaker, the bill was introduced today, and as it is being done under certificate of urgency. On the face of it, the impression is that we are rather reducing some taxes, and it's a good thing. That is how, on the face of it, it appears to be. But there's a mischief to it. And I'll point out the mischief, why we shouldn't rush for a third reading now. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that there is a Minerals and Mining Regulation Act, Regulations 2025, the royalties regulation that was referred to the subsidiary legislation committee. Mr. Speaker, in this regulation, there is a new concept that has been introduced by government. And Mr. Speaker, what it is doing is that it is more or less shutting the mining industry by way of, Mr. Speaker, this so-called principle or concept of scaling up. Mr. Speaker, if you pay due attention to the new regulation, what government is trying to do is to use this bill to mitigate, but it doesn't cure the mischief. Mr. Speaker, our bilateral partners have raised this serious concern with government. And what government is doing is to create the impression that, oh, we are now going to reduce taxes or levies in the mining industry to compensate for the imposition of this scaling up levies that we are imposing, because there is some surge in terms of the price of gold. Mr. Speaker, our partners have raised serious concerns. South Africa, Canada, the United States have come together to raise concerns that what we are doing under the regulation, we are by that singular act shutting the door on investors, and it would drive away investors who would see other alternative avenues in Cote d'Ivoire, in South Africa. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I would want to make the following observations with one aim: get government to relook at this and not to rush for a third reading, so that, Mr. Speaker, we would all go and reflect, compare the numbers. Are you really solving the problem with this tax rebates that you are introducing? I see it as a mitigation, but Mr. Speaker, with what I know, which I would want Hansa to record, it will not solve the problem. It will still make Ghana unattractive for investment. So, Mr. Speaker, I would want to proceed with the following 3 points as point to guide House not to proceed with this third reading. Mr. Speaker, with what we have in the what is wrong with the procedure? Eche, I came into Eche, stop it. Eche, I know the procedure. You are asking for waiver. You are asking for waiver for us to go to third reading. What is the compelling argument? Let's get into some intellectual discourse with respect. It is not. You have come with an application unsupported by anything to ask, Mr. Speaker, to grant waiver for you to do third reading. I am up on my feet to come out with why we shouldn't do third reading. Why we shouldn't do third reading. If you don't want me to talk and you want to use some 30 people to pass a law to take a decision in this chamber, go ahead and take the decision. But Hansa will record that this is a super majority that would want to frustrate the minority. Why? You are limiting how many minutes I should speak. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the minerals and mining regulation, the LI that also matures today, and we are aware, listen, we know what you are doing. It matures today, and because of the pressure, you want to introduce this mitigation. And Mr. Speaker, I would want to make these submissions to prove a point that they are not actually solving the problem. Mr. Speaker, our country has witnessed a dramatic deterioration in its standing as a mining investment destination. In the Global Mining Perception Index, Ghana dropped 46 in 2024 to 60th in 2025. The Global Best Practice Index places Ghana near the bottom of the global rankings. Mining capital is increasingly being redirected that to competing jurisdictions including Peru, Colombia, South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, and Mali. Mr. Speaker, an Ernst & Young report commissioned by stakeholders in the mining industry and brought to the attention of Parliament's Subsidiary Legislation Committee highlight anticipated job losses, declining capital inflows, and reduced investor confidence if the sliding scale royalties are implemented and without accompanying relief or incentive measures. Mr. Speaker, like I said before, because of these concerns that were expressed when the legislative subsidiary legislation committee met, government is bringing this, Mr. Speaker, as a measure to offer some relief, but it doesn't solve the problem. The minority takes this independent assessment seriously. Through our chair on subsidiary legislation and the information given to us, Mr. Speaker, we take this assessment seriously. Ghana expects approximately $7 billion in mining investment in period through 2028. Investment of this scale support local businesses, local content initiatives, and employment. And policies that undermine investor confidence jeopardizes these anticipated inflows. And the policy I'm referring to is the very regulation you've introduced. Mr. Speaker, one, the risk of massive job losses. Our position as minority, as articulated by our respected colleague Patrick Boama, is that the net economic effect of this new royalties framework could be the loss of close to 1 million jobs. And we are looking at the entire value chain. The logic is straightforward. If investors reduce or exit capital commitment because the fiscal burden is prohibitive, the downstream effect on employment, income tax, and corporate taxes will far outweigh any short-term revenue gains from the higher royalties. So, Mr. Speaker, the point is that if you're saying that you are even reducing taxes, but this upscale royalties is very high, what you are doing by way of relief, it's of no effect. It becomes odious. The investors will still go because they don't find this incentive sufficient enough to keep them here. It's like you are giving them 1 cedi and taking 5 cedi from them. Mr. Speaker, it is not done that way.
Yes, but Minority Leader, don't you agree with me that based on the argument that we just advanced, it will not be proper to still keep the tax at 3%, and it will be some mitigation measure if it is brought back to the original 1% as promised by the minister?
Mr. Speaker, you know that I am against taxation, and I am on all fours in agreement with that position, and my answer to you is in the affirmative. I agree that the appropriate thing is to go down to the 1%. But I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, all my argument is anchored in the very mischief that this law is trying to cure. I'm saying that, Mr. Speaker, underneath this good gesture is a fundamental policy misdirection that our partners have pointed out. And in fact, Mr. Speaker, the very law that they introduced, which all these concerns were expressed, matures today. It is not a coincidence that government is trying to get this bill passed today. You want to assure our partners that, oh, their concerns have been addressed. And I'm saying that no, let us interrogate the numbers. Let us interrogate the numbers. Weigh them. Are you saying that, Mr. Speaker, if you pass this law, it will be sufficient to mitigate the concerns that have been expressed? Mr. Speaker, let me move to my second point. We have 3 points as a caucus.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I believe half a loaf is better than none. And if they raise a concern about the regulation when the law is still at 3%, for me, I still maintain that it would, in a way, be a bit of mitigation measure if this is reduced from 3% to 1%. Because this bill before us, all that it is seeking to do is one line, reduce from 3% to 1%. So when we are talking about second consideration, I was taken aback because all that it is seeking to do is to change 3 to 1. That is all that the bill is talking about.
Speaker, with respect, I am in agreement with you that half a loaf is better than none. I am in agreement with you. I also understand the step that government is taking because government wants to respond to the concerns. But, Mr. Speaker, at the heart of my argument and this side of the House is whether or not this step being taken commensurates with the grave concerns. Mr. Speaker, and that is what I would want colleagues opposite me to appreciate. I'm not done. I have 3 arguments. Mr. Speaker has asked me important questions and I've answered him. Mr. Speaker, the question is whether or not this half a loaf being offered would be sufficient to mitigate. And Mr. Speaker, let us lay bare why we hold the view that the mitigation as being proposed, 3 to 1, will not solve the problem. And when we are done, government can have its way. We would want to put the argument for Hansard to record that if you don't want us to go to second consideration and you want to still do the waiver, let us make our point. We will be remembered for having made our point. So, Mr. Speaker, let me advance the second argument and the third. And I'll rest my case so that I don't apply for second consideration. I won't be brief. Ampim, your boss, if he takes this serious, he would have come himself. If I subject you to interrogation, you can't survive. So let me finish my work. So don't come and argue. You are a junior in this chamber.
I share your concern.
Mr. Speaker, he's our junior. He should, the fact that you are deputy minister doesn't mean you should come in. You are a junior.
Honorable Minority Leader.
You want to challenge your leader.
Hold it.
You want to challenge your
Honorable Minority Leader. I appreciate your concern because you missed the second reading stage of this particular bill, because you would have placed all your points at second reading, but you missed the second reading. So we really appreciate. That's the point. Yes. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, Mr. Speaker, with respect, Mr. Speaker, even overly tolerating the minority is part of democracy.
But
Mr. Speaker,
we have given you the opportunity
Yeah,
to
Mr. Speaker.
sufficiently make your points.
Mr. Speaker, let me finish point 2 and 3 and close the matter. I beg you.
Let the record reflect that today the minority leader agrees that the majority chief whip is over tolerant.
Mr. Speaker, if it continues that way, we'll be happy, but not for today. It shouldn't just be for today. So, Mr. Speaker, our point is that government cannot claim to be open for business while simultaneously making structural decisions that send contradictory signals to both local and international investors. This, in our view, is fundamentally inconsistent, and we want to draw attention to this. Mr. Speaker, second, there is pressure from our major trading partners. We also note serious concern that Ghana faces sustained pressure from the United States, United Kingdom, China, Canada, Australia to hold these planned royalty increases, with all 5 expressing concern about the adverse effect on some of the world's largest mining companies operating within Ghana. Mr. Speaker, we believe that this multilateral diplomatic pressure is unprecedented and signals the severity of the concerns in the international investment community, and government must proceed with a lot of caution. Mr. Speaker, our third point, that we looked at the governance deficit in the lithium subsector. Mr. Speaker, consistently we have raised objections to the handling of the lithium agreement with Barari DV Ghana Limited. Mr. Speaker, the ranking on lands and natural resources, Honorable Kweku Amprechum Sapon, has argued that the arrangement undermines public interest and weakens confidence in Ghana's resource governance framework. And government's own indecision on this matter, including the December 2025 withdrawal of the revised lithium mining agreement from Parliament for further consultation, demonstrate the inadequacy of the consultation and impact assessment processes that preceded these regulations. It's a reason why we think that this law should not be rushed with a view to be doing any mitigation when the fundamental problem still subsists, and this does not in any scale how to cure it. Mr. Speaker, we hold a view, again, finally, that there are some legal and constitutional questions. Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee has called for amendment to the Minerals and Mining Act to create a proper legal foundation for the royalties above 5%. The committee chairman, Honorable Collins Dowda, pointed out that charging different companies different royalty rates without clear legislative backing creates discriminatory treatment and legal vulnerability. This came from the respected senior colleague, Honorable Collins Dowda, reinforcing the position of the minority. And Mr. Speaker, we share in this constitutional concern. This regulation may be laying the groundwork for legal challenges. We emphasize that it may be laying the groundwork for legal challenges that can embarrass our country. International arbitration can be triggered against us because, Mr. Speaker, most of the mining agreements, the lease agreement, and these multinationals, every now and then, we all know.
Honorable Minority Leader, you see, you seems to be shifting from the bill under consideration. You are now speaking about mining agreements.
Sorry about that, but I'm simply connecting, Mr. Speaker, there is a direct nexus between this bill and the regulation. Mr. Speaker, I have Mr. Speaker, maybe colleagues don't know about this, and they are not privy to what the minister is doing. This is not being placed on nothing. It is being placed on something. The something is the minerals regulation. Government is not just coming out all of a sudden as a Father Christmas to tell the mining companies, I'm giving you reduction from 3, I'm taking it to 1. It's because there's a fundamental challenge. And Mr. Speaker, if I don't speak to the fundamental challenge and I move straight away to oppose, then there will be nothing to oppose. All right? So, Mr. Speaker.
So, Minority Leader, conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I'm concluding, yes. So, Mr. Speaker, already we know what has happened in Bogoso Prisia case, where the Blue Gold Holdings and Future Global Resources have threatened arbitral proceedings seeking a minimum of $1 billion USD in damages against government. Mr. Speaker, with all that said, I would want to say that there is wisdom in consulting a pillow. We should not rush for third reading today. Government haven't listened to the views of the minority, which views clearly is pointing out to government that this law does not sufficiently mitigate all the risk involved in this regulation, can come back tomorrow and say that it has heard these views, and after consultation and after paying attention to its pillow, would want to withdraw the regulation and look at a much more productive approach in generating revenue from the mining sector. Mr. Speaker, that is all we seek to do. That said, Mr. Speaker, I would want to rest my case and leave the application to them to pursue. But we have nothing useful to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minority Leader. Minority Leader, what I want to say is that the regulation has come into force. So to amend the regulation is a different procedure altogether. But what is happening is that because the regulation is in force, whatever scale that is in the regulation becomes applicable. So you rightly pointed it out that this, in a way, may be a mitigation measure. So we understood your points. So I only have to plead with you that we give this mitigation in the interim. Because when the minister came to change the law from 1 to 3, he promised that other measures are being put in place. Once those measures are in place, he will come back to bring it back to 1%. Now, the measures have been put in place in the regulation. He is before us that now bring it back from 3% to 1%. I think it's a mitigation measure that we should give Tamil City to Ghanaians. So on this note, I will put a question on the procedural motion. As many as are in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The procedural motion is carried.
An act to amend the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act 2023 at 1095 to reduce the rate of the levy on gold mining companies from 3% of...
No, they will now move the motion for third reading. Yes. Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the Growth and Sustainability Levy Bill 2026 be now read the third time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Motion move. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minority.
Since we started, none of you have seconded the motion. Mr. Speaker, second the motion.
Mr. Speaker, you can second subjectus. Why do you want to make it a one-party chamber?
No, he's always in a hurry. He's been rushed.
Mr. Speaker, we don't want to take your goodwill for granted. Mr. Speaker, this afternoon, your posture is very commendable. And Mr. Speaker, if this posture continues, this side will be in love with you. Mr. Speaker, but the second deputy majority whip, he shouldn't create the impression that it's a one-sided chamber.
He's always in a rush.
When we advise and you don't take it, your masters, the CSOs, will bring you in line. You only listen to the CSOs. When we advise you, you don't take it. Deputy Finance Minister, you are in a rush to pass a bill. It's not a coincidence because you want to mitigate something. You are under pressure. That's why you want to take this bill at all costs today. Mr. Speaker, they should second their own bill and carry the consequences.
Mr. Speaker, I do second the motion.
All members, motion moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. This is a motion for a third reading. The question is, as many as are in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
An act to amend the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act 2023 at 1095 to reduce the rate of the levy on gold mining companies from 3% of gross production to 1% of gross production.
Mr. Speaker, they have 60 ministers. Where are your ministers? They were impatient. Your own ministers could not wait to assist you to execute government business. Your own ministers, they were very upset at you because you were pursuing government business. If we are supposed to open the constitution, if we take you into the law, look at it's the same backbench, you've taken them for granted. They are not on board, they are not enjoying. Even recruitment, you are not giving them some. When it gets to government business, then you start writing names. You threaten them, you threaten the backbench with the writing of names. What do they get? What do they get? And you bring them to be doing here. Where are the ministers?
And disrespect your own TV.
Where are your ministers? Today, you are relying on backbench. Backbench, they share, they don't give you anything. They don't give you anything. It's Friday. The ministers, they are enjoying. And you are here doing government business. Mr. Speaker, God bless you for doing government business.
Thank you. Honourable members, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2026 is duly read for the third time and passed. Yes, majority chief whip.
Speaker, I believe that because Speaker says so. Because Speaker has advised that I should be. So, Speaker, it's 6 p.m. Today is Friday. We haven't done. No, we've done 5 hours. We haven't. So, Speaker, I think the record will bear me out that we haven't done exactly 5 hours, and therefore I would move that the House be adjourned till Monday, 10 a.m. Monday, 10 a.m.
We have done 5 hours.
We've done 5 hours.
We started sitting before 1.
Great. Then, Speaker, we are entirely in your hands in this matter.
Oh, Jerry.
Speaker, I think that we are about 5 hours.
Yes.
But Speaker, honestly, I think that the posture today needs commendation. And I need to let you understand that today you have taken the literalist approach in dealing with matters.
Not the purposive approach.
No, today it has
Not the purposive approach.
when you are dealing with the purposive too, sometimes it is dangerous. But we commend you highly today. Speaker, if some of the ministers can even learn from you. Speaker, if some of the ministers, that a minister is programmed to come and answer questions of this house, and there is no regard whatsoever for this house, Speaker, for you, for his own chief whip, and for leadership, my respected leader and all other members, Speaker, we are in trouble. We need to let His Excellency understand that the 133 is in danger. Danger is looming even at the ministers. They can't understand the 133 to even come and sit here for an hour or two to respond to questions. Speaker, today I've been very broken. But I pray that Tuesday we come back as a unit. Speaker, look at the backbenchers. They are here. My backbenchers have been here. Speaker, you do 113. You don't do 133. Largely 113. 113 shift. Speaker, may you live long.
Honourable members, it is indeed a fact that we've done more than 5 hours and fortified by Standing Order 56-2. I will proceed to adjourn the House without a motion. The House is accordingly adjourned till Monday, 16th March 2026 at
Monday. Speaker, the sense of the House is that we do 12 midday on Monday.
Yes.
Midday. Yeah.
So the House is adjourned till Monday, 16th March 2026 at 12 noon.